How's it going, everybody? So today we are here with a tutorial video for the new Hyperflux instrument for the Recursion Studio. So this is a brand new instrument. It was released in May of 2025 as a free update to all owners of the synth. So if you haven't yet, you can just plug in your Wi-Fi dongle and then go to Settings, Update, and you should be able to download the newest update, which is update 124, which has this instrument. So we're going to dive right into it. So what this instrument is it's sort of a combination of the Recurse instrument and the interference instrument. So the Recurse instrument is a video feedback simulation where it's feeding back these generative shapes that are created by the seed module. This behaves in a similar way. It's in some ways a little bit simpler. The Recurse module is pretty much identical. The color module is pretty much identical. The modulation module is the same as it is in all the other instruments. But instead of the seed, which is kind of like borders that are textured and have a whole bunch of weird effects on them in the Recurse module, we use a Wave 2D module right here, which generates a two-dimensional waveform, kind of like which is used in the interference instrument. And this two-dimensional waveform is what is fed back on itself. So let's just dive into here. So the two-dimensional waveform in particular here is identical to a modulation channel. So I'm going to go in here and do preview. And this is the waveform that we're generating. We're using this radial waveguide right here. And we're using a cosine wave. So it's generating a radial pattern. We can make it have a square pattern. We can make it have a linear left to right pattern. And then you can change like the waveform, which just kind of changes the shape right there. So it's going to have a little more pronounced peaks. It's going to be a saw wave, which hopefully you can kind of visualize there. Square wave, so it's just going to be kind of pulses. So you generate this waveform. All right. Let's go back to triangle wave. And then that waveform gets composed with itself in this Recurse module. So the Recurse module uses a similar kind of structure to the Recurse module in the fractal instrument. It has like a function which provides a transformation. It has like a kaleidoscoping module which provides a degree of symmetry. It's off right now and it's off by default. But it also has like a new blend mode which is called wave blend, which is kind of what allows the wave pattern to kind of get combined with multiple copies of itself. So what we can do right here, there's this blend module in here called only seed, which is just going to give us back that the wave pattern. So this is only a copy of the wave pattern. But then you can kind of see what these other modules kind of do. So there's no recursion happening right now. So this is going to create a three-dimensionally symmetric copy of that wave pattern. You have the symmetry right here. It's four-fold symmetry. We're going to turn that back off. You can kind of control this. And now we're basically just looking at the wave pattern being put through this transformation that happens in the Recurse module, but with no feedback. So we're going to reset this back to default. And we'll go back to wave blend. Oh, that's missing a preview. I need to make a note of that. All right. But we're going to turn the alpha all the way back up to 1. And now we're doing recursion because alpha is 1 now. Whoops. We're only getting a copy of the seed. We can slowly add in previous history. We're basically just adding more and more feedback. So that is a very high-level overview of what's going on in here. And then that gets put through the color module, which is pretty similar to the color module from the other instruments, except this one doesn't have any lighting effects, and it's a little more simple. It also has like a palette in here. And we also added a deformation, which is stolen from the Hyperflux or from the Cat Party instrument. Oh, this one also needs a preview. So it's definitely combining a lot of different things from a lot of different instruments here. It's got stuff from Cat Party, it has stuff from Fractal, and it has stuff from the interference instrument. We'll keep this on basic at the moment. So, the default controls are definitely worth putting a little bit of thought into here. So this control right here is like a zoom factor, all right? And a very important thing to know for the Hyperflux instrument is that you want this to be close to 1. The closer you get it to 1, the more iterations you'll see in the instrument or in the feedback. If you get it really close to 1, you can start getting like a ton of iterations. This one is kind of like this is a theta control, so this is going to rotate. It just adds a little bit of rotation on each iteration. Alpha is also very important. You definitely want to keep alpha really low too, because that also increases the number of iterations you get in the feedback. You can even turn it all the way down to 0, and then it's just completely state-based. All the way back up to 1, and then you just basically get a colorized version of the wave front that kind of goes into the instrument. There's also frequency right here, which controls the frequency of the wave that's generated from the wavefront. You also have this color frequency right here, which determines the colorization. So you see as I increase this, it increases the frequency of these like oscillations as they go from right to left. There's another page of controls here too. This one these are from the Recurse module right here. Let me go back in here and turn this down. Turn alpha back down. This is a colorizing control. It changes how much the palette changes as you get out from the origin. This hue, this is basically just a rotation control for the hue, and this changes another colorization control. There are also some buttons right here, which are basically just, there's some LFOs. Some of them are on by default. This one is not. This one makes the color rotate. This makes the angle rotate. And this changes the color palette. So in the Wave 2D module, this is set up basically like, actually let me go back to the init patch real quick. So the Wave 2D module is a little bit more complicated than the Wave 2D module you'd get in the interference instrument. This is actually identical to a modulation channel. So you also have access to a texture here. So we're going to blend in some video camera input. We're going to change the mod mix to actually start increasing some camera input. I'm going to go inside of here and enable mirroring for the camera. So now when I move my hand left, the image is on the left. All camera input. And you can start doing like wild stuff where you can like tap into other buffers in the system. Let's try to add a cat. See if you can actually see a cat in here. Yeah, sort of. You can actually sort of see a cat. So I'm turning alpha all the way up, which basically means there's no recursion happening right now. And as I turn it down, you start to get more levels and it starts getting more distorted. Yeah, anyways, I don't like to keep these tutorials going on for too long, but I think that's a general overview of how the instrument works. You generate a wave pattern, which right now is a cat. I'm going to switch it back over to the actual generative wave pattern. Then it gets put through the Recurse module, which happens similar to what happens in the Fractal module. That gets colorized as a post-processing effect. And then you end up with Hyperflux. But yeah, the most important things to know is that it can be very finicky. So you definitely want to keep this value close to 1, and you want to keep alpha close to 0. Besides that, yeah, just mess around with it. You can definitely come up with some really cool stuff.